Hey travelers! Welcome back to Stormbreaker. As we already know, version 5.0 has recently dropped, bringing with it some exciting new additions to the world of Genshin Impact. Among the new faces, we saw Mualani debut in the Phase 1 banner alongside Kachina. Today, we're diving into the latest addition to the Genshin Impact roster, Kinich, a 5-star Dendro character. Kinich is a 5-star Dendro Claymore-wielding character, whose primary role in a team is DPS with his high attack scaling. His gameplay style revolves around leveraging burning and burgeon reactions, with primary damage being his elemental skill, which delivers explosive bursts of damage. In this video, we'll break down Kinich's kit, talk about his possible teams, and about his strengths and weaknesses, which will help you decide whether to pull him or not. Kinich's core gameplay primarily revolves around his elemental skill Canopy Hunter, riding high, while his elemental burst, Hail to the Almighty Dragonlord, not being necessary, can be used for good AoE damage when it is available. Now let us look into his elemental skill. Upon usage, Kinich will attach a grappling hook on his opponent, thereby entering Night Owl's Blessing. By performing a normal attack, Kinich will fire loop shots as he loops around the grappled target based on his current movement direction, dealing Dendro damage and generating Night Owl points. The damage is considered elemental skill damage. When his Night Owl points are maxed out, Kinich can use the Scales Piker cannon to consume all Night Owl points and deal Night Owl aligned Dendro damage. You can aim this shot and fire the cannon, dealing huge Dendro damage with minimal AoE. If the grapple connection should snap due to exceeding the maximum distance or some other reason, using a normal attack will establish a new connection with a nearby opponent. Also, when he is in Night Owl Blessing, more points are generated with Kinich's passives through interactions with burning or burgeon reactions, and increase his Scales Piker cannon's damage based on these points, making reaction management key to maximizing his DPS. There is a fun mini-game that you can play during his skill. In Night Owl's Blessing, after grappling an opponent or firing Scales Piker cannon, a blind spot will be generated next to the opponent. When Kinich enters this blind spot, it will disappear and he will generate 4 Night Owl points. His burst deals Night Owl aligned AoE Dendro damage and extends his elemental skill duration, making it viable to use but not mandatory. It's best used when you need that extra bit of AoE coverage or to extend your skill uptime during a tough fight. His burst is not necessary at all, however, if you have it available, it is okay to use it since his burst deals AoE Dendro damage. Alright, let's talk about Kinich's best artifacts. With the release of version 5.0, we got some seriously powerful artifact sets, mostly tailored for natlan characters. The set you're going to want to go for Kinich is the Obsidian Codex. This set gives you a 15% damage bonus and a huge 40% crit rate. That's a massive stat boost, and it's exactly what you need to maximize Kinich's damage output. Now, if you don't have a good set of Obsidian Codex, don't worry. A quick mention here, Marashore Hunter is also a solid option, especially if you're using Kinich in a Furina Burgeon teams. But outside of that, you might be better off going with a flexible 2-piece, a set that focuses on attack percent and Dendro damage bonus. When it comes to artifact stats for Kinich, it's pretty straightforward. You'll want to prioritize attack damage, and crit his elemental burst just isn't strong enough to justify stacking energy recharge. So even if you skip the burst, his skill will still dish out tons of damage. So don't forget that Kinich is only going to get stronger when good natlan support is released. They'll be able to equip the Scroll of the Hero of Cinder City set, boosting Kinich's elemental damage bonus even further. So, I highly recommend farming this domain because both sets are going to be fantastic for natlan characters. Alright, let's break down Kinich's Constellations and see what each one brings to the table. C1 gives Kinich a solid DPS boost by increasing his mobility and critical damage on his Scales Piker cannon. We can expect about a 16% overall increase in his damage output. With C2, Kinich reduces the enemy's Dendro resistance and amplifies the first cannon shot's AoE and damage by a whopping 100%. C3 adds 3 more levels to his elemental skill. C4 eases the energy requirement for his burst, allowing for more frequent use, while also boosting its damage by 70%. C5 increases his burst level by 3, stacking even more damage on top of the buffs from C4. C6 is your typical DPS constellation. This increases the damage of his Scales Piker cannon by 700%, and it can now bounce between enemies, dealing massive dendro damage. Each constellation for Kinich systematically enhances his kit, with C2 and C6 standing out as game changers. Whether you're aiming for small boosts or a complete transformation of his gameplay, Kinich's constellations deliver impactful upgrades at every level. Let's take a look at the best weapon options for Kinich. At the top, we have his signature weapon, Fang of the Mountain King, a 5-star claymore. With a high base attack of 741 and a crit rate substat of 11%, it's completely designed to maximize Kinich's damage output. The passive ability, Turquoise Hunt, grants stacks of Canopy's favor whenever you hit an opponent with an elemental skill or trigger burning or burgeon reactions. Each stack boosts elemental skill and burst damage by 10% for 6 seconds, up to 6 stacks, making it highly effective for sustained damage. However, despite its tailored benefits, Fang of the Mountain King isn't versatile enough to justify its pulling, if you already own weapons like Beacon of the Reed Sea or the Natlan free-to-play craftable weapon, Earthshaker. For F2P players, Earthshaker is a solid alternative, especially since it's more accessible, and offers stronger performance with elemental skill damage boosts after pyro reactions. Next up is the Serpent Spine, a Battle Pass 4-star claymore with a crit rate of 27.6%, and a passive that increases the damage the longer you stay on the field. This weapon works surprisingly well with Kinich, as he can avoid taking damage while spinning around enemies, making it a great choice if you're looking to maximize uptime on buffs, without compromising survivability. Finally, while Beacon of the Reed Sea is also a strong contender with its high base attack and crit rate, its passive ATK boosts and HP bonuses make it more flexible than Fang of the Mountain King. So, for Kinich mains, going for his signature weapon can be tempting, but if you're a casual player or someone who's F2P, it's not worth the pull given its limited use outside of Kinich. Let's dive into Kinich's best teams and their synergies. Currently, he doesn't have an optimal teammate to buff his damage significantly outside of Bennett, which makes him crucial for maximizing Kinich's personal damage. That might change with future Natlan releases, but until then, here are the top teams you should consider. This burning team comprises of Kinich, Emily, Xiangling, and Bennett. This is the strongest and standard team for Kinich. Bennett provides a huge attack bonus with his burst, essential for maximizing Kinich's DPS. Xiangling works as an excellent sub-DPS, maintaining pyro application to trigger burning or burgeon. Emily, a strong dendro DPS, helps sustain burning across multiple enemies and burning resistance to the whole team. Moreover, pyro resonance also ensures an attack bonus for the entire team. You can replace Emily with Nahida since she offers same dendro application. The second team comp is based on Burgeon, with Kinich, Furina, Xiangling, and Bennett. This team is ideal if you want to focus more on Kinich's personal damage. Furina acts as a good sub-DPS, while boosting damage % of your other characters, and providing dendro seeds for Burgeon reactions. You can always replace Furina with other Hydro units, if you solely want to focus on Burgeon reactions. Characters like Xingqiu and Yelan will also be good alternatives for this slot. You can consider replacing Bennett with Baiju to focus on Burgeon reactions exclusively in case Bennett is not available, since Baiju pairs well with Furina, providing shields for resistance to interruptions, and healing to counter Furina's health drain. The third team revolves around Hyper Bloom, where Kinich can be a good reaction driver. His main source of damage is from his skills, but his loop attack registers as normal attack animations, thus being able to use Xingqiu or Yelan or Raiden. Thus he will be fine in Hyper Bloom teams. However, with Natlan being a pyro region, we can expect better pyro supports and DPS units that will synergize well with Kinich, making him a long-term investment, as more characters are released. So keep an eye out for Qilonen and Mavuika, as they'll likely be excellent teammates who elevate Kinich's performance even further. And this was all for my Kinich detailed kit and talent review. I focused more on the niche aspects of Kinich while trying to provide full context of how you are likely to play and build him. A new video about Kinich's gameplay and build will come out after his release, so any details that I had left out will be covered there. But if you can't wait, feel free to add a comment in the comment section. I'll make sure to go through all the comments. So, see you all in the next video. Please do like and subscribe to my channel for more such exciting and informative content.